Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, sports, music, whole bunch of stuff. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, it goes PD Beats. Really excited with who I have on my show today. This is I go way back with this guy. This goes back to my days as a concert promoter. Really excited. I'm with the lead vocalist from a pop punk band from Ottawa, We Were Sharks, who recently signed with Victory Records. We're with Randy Frobel. Randy, welcome to Popternative, man.
Hey, how's it going, man? Nice to see you again, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while. And I just remember those days of booking shows, Cafe de Cuff, Mavericks. Those were the days, man.
Hell yeah. They still are the days. We're still doing it now. So.
Yeah. So first off, We Were Sharks signs to Victory Records. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Thank you.
In a sense, it's like the whole cliche hard work pays off. I mean, poster boy Randy over here.
I don't know if it's hard work
right?
or just lucky.
But seriously, no. But I don't think luck has to do with it. I mean, if you my first question is talk a little bit about how the band started and all the kind of tours and shows that you've done to get this far, man. I mean, it's a journey.
Oh, absolutely. I've been just even before We Were Sharks even was talked about or brought up. I was playing music probably 6 years before that in another local band from Ottawa who, we booked tours and we did all that kind of stuff. And I met Terrence, who now plays in Obey the Brave. And he talked to me about, forming a project that he had on his mind. He wanted to call it Sharks. And he had Will Plummer, who still plays with Sharks now. Him and I are the only original guys from 2010. We talked about, forming a band and we kind of started and we just kind of took it from there. Honestly, we booked everything. We booked ourselves. We had a lot of great musicians join the band. A lot of them left to pursue other bands and other careers. Like Alex Duquette is an amazing tattoo artist now. He's doing that. And we just kind of stuck with it and continued booking our own stuff. And I want to say, luckily, we got signed to Victory because Victory Records is absolutely incredible. Some of my favorite bands was on Victory, and they still are on Victory, and and they took a chance on us. So I guess it is hard work, but it doesn't seem like it's hard work when you're having that much fun, right?
For people that don't know We Were Sharks, give us the little elevator pitch of what kind of music you guys play and what are kind of some of the messages that the band tries to kind of promote. What's We Were Sharks all about?
We're a party. We're literally a party. That's what we come to do. Anytime we play your city, we just want to have a great time. We're, there's a lot of negative stuff in the world and there's a lot of everybody's down. But when you come out to a We Were Sharks show, we just want to make everybody have a great time. We want it to be a party, and we're a pop punk band, and that's what we do. Just a positive. You can say a positive band, maybe. We kind of look on the brighter side of things, and maybe not so much the negative side.
So you're a very modest guy. So this question I'm about to ask, I don't think I'm gonna get a very good answer about it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Okay, but we talked right before we started. We talked about bands like Neck Deep, and there's State Champs, and a lot of these pop punk bands. For a while, I mean, a lot of the same riffs, a lot of the same stuff, but the voices, the singing was something that kind of, I think, made bands kind of stand out and made them successful. You look at Ben and you look at Derek from State Champs.
Oh, guys, incredible.
The voice, and Randy from We Were Sharks yourself, your voice is incrable. People say it all the time.
Thank you.
I mean, do you find that still kind of is a thing now with what do people want to kind of I mean, people love the lyrics, obviously, but the voice is something that they're going to look at because a lot of pop punk is the same stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people will admit that, right?
Yeah, it's that signature sound, right? I don't know. I always tell the guys maybe if they had a guy with a little more aggression in the voice, they might have been bigger. But they got this guy that likes to listen to R&B music and country music, so unfortunately they're stuck with me.
No, but it's one of those things where a lot of bands. I mean, it's one of those things with you. Your band kind of started kind of getting introduced when there was a big pop punk boom at one point, where there was a lot of very big bands like Carousel Kings, Kid Liberty, a lot of those bands, and We Were Sharks was kind of in there. And do you think that I mean, a lot of those State Champs was in there, and they're huge right now. I mean, it takes a while, but do you think everyone kind of in the industry knows that right now and kind of embraces that, unfortunately, that it does take a long time?
I think so. It's like, I think we were Sharks formed, and we were all, like, a lot of us were kind of already touring for a while, so we're little older guys, right? So, like, now people are like, oh, look at these old dudes playing pop punk. And I'm like, well, if you only understood that we've been doing this for a long time and kind of kept the same sound, grew, but kind of kept the same sound, you know, you would understand that, yeah, it takes a while. You don't just, to me, the better bands don't just get signed overnight because, you know, they got to prove what they're worth. They're not just going to pull out 1 or 2 albums, you know. These bands that take a little longer to sign, you know, have tour experience, have album experience, you know. That's what I think. And I think that's why you're seeing so many great bands coming out.
I think the whole thing, and, you know, you can even compare this to wrestling. And I like, people...
I do like wrestling.
I love wrestling too. In a couple of weeks, we're doing our week of wrestling where I interviewed so many wrestlers. But one of those things too is I talk to them, and it's like you look at like the WWE and guys that come in and they're like, oh, these guys are brand new. It's like, no, they're not brand new. I mean, they're new to WWE, but like people know them. Oh, We Were Sharks, brand new band, Victory Records. No, like
that's the funny thing. It's like a lot of people are like, oh man, like I heard Beyond Repair. And I checked out your back catalog. Wow, you guys were like together for a long time. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the show. You know,
oh man,
Go West, young man. I mean, we can go on and on and on. And I think when you said party, I think that really hits it. I mean, you know, it's right now is I think an interesting time for the music scene. I mean, you look at a lot of, there are still labels that are putting out great musics, like you know, there's a lot of streaming services. Unfortunately, you look at festivals like Vans Warped Tour that we loved, you know, decided to kind of call it quits, you know. What do you kind of take from all this, you know, being in a band where I won't say, you know, it's risky, but like, you know, you finally...
It definitely is risky.
Yeah, I mean, you're finally signed and everything, and the scene is kind of making all these changes, you know, and you're kind of like, wow, we got in there right now, but like like anything can happen. Weird bounces can happen, you know what I mean?
I think for at least the guys in Sharks, we kind of do it for ourselves. I know that's maybe a selfish way to say it, but we you know, we kind of go out and write music for ourselves and play for ourselves and like that's whether, you know, we hope that this thing continues growing and the scene continues growing. It's just right now you got to roll with the punches, right? It's probably like, you know, with Warped Tour, losing Warped Tour, like that's a big thing. Like that's like crazy to me to even think that Warped Tour is like, this is going to be the last year of like this traveling around Warped Tour is pretty crazy to me. But no, we just, if we kind of look at it like that, you know, we probably would just feel miserable. We're not even looking at it like that. We're just looking at it as, you know, now we get the opportunity to tour a lot more and go bring this circus and party, you know, on the road a lot more and to more people. Like we kind of look at it like that. We're trying not to think of like, you know, maybe it's a dying thing. You know, music will never die, and it's just gonna, something else is gonna pick it back up.
A lot of bands kind of have, I like to call it, Randy, the sweet spots, the places where they kind of have. Like I remember booking, you know, Mean Tangerine that used to be on, and they, for some reason, they did well, but like Montreal, they did really well. You guys have some spots in like the Maritimes and the States where it's just like insane compared to other cities.
Yeah, I feel that. I remember back in the day, like the East Coast was crazy for us when Sharks first started. Like
Over the Top,
and with Over the Top, who Jason now plays with us as well. Like he's been in the band for quite a while now. But the East Coast was like big for us, and Chicago does really well for us now. You know, so we're just exploring the States. Like we've only toured it maybe 4 or 5 times, 6 times now, so it's still kind of still new to us, but
And it must be kind of cool where you're in a situation where, when you were kind of starting out, I mean, you did one of the first like little Canadian runs with state champs. So it was like their first time.
Didn't you book that?
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, it was you.
I was the first Canadian promoter to book state champs.
You were. That was fun, man. That was a fun show. They were right away. I remember seeing them going, "This band is gonna be huge."
Yeah, I mean, and I said that about We Were Sharks too, though.
You did. And
how many bands can fill up a show on Super Bowl?
We did do that. Eh?
We did that. That was my first Ottawa show.
We did do that. That was sick.
We're Chasing Amy.
Yeah. Oh man, that was also a sweet band. That band was awesome.
There was a time though where and like the times have changed, but I remember like Much Music's disband. I mean, so many bands were getting opportunities from all those medians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another thing too, and it's a pop punk thing that I've been talking about, is a lot of the bands, I call them American Pie, like pop punk bands.
Oh
right?
yeah, dude.
That were in movies and everything. Yeah. I mean,
the best kind.
I mean, I could see We Were Sharks kind of being that band, and I'm hoping it's going to happen, especially with like Victory Records, where like your songs in movies or TV shows and everything, and people are like, wow, because that's how I found a lot of my music. I'd be watching a movie and I'd be like, wow, this song's awesome. What is this? Okay.
Well, look at the American Pie soundtrack.
It's the best.
That might be like probably one of the best soundtracks ever.
The best,
exist, right? So, yeah, I would love to be one of those bands that gets in those movies. That would be super dope.
a lot of the bands too, like from the Toronto Much Music scene, like Crystalline, these kids were crowds, like they were getting on like Degrassi and all these shows, and like it was great for them. And like people know people probably have songs. And even like I remember We Were Sharks were on some like sample CDs that people were giving out at shows, right? And you put like I think like what was the song that you were really, really pushing that you had Johnny from Life Ruiner in?
Oh, I only like the first album.
Yeah, like I remember like people were talking like there was some pop punk samplers that they found. You know what I mean? And people would be like, "Oh, I know We Were Sharks. I have one song like on my iPod." I mean, that goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely.
But Spotify is huge right now. I mean, you're probably gonna like, I don't know. I mean, you see it every day. I mean, We Were Sharks is like it's a tag team with Spotify right now. Like you're on all the playlists. Like it's crazy.
Like I remember before we even signed with Victory when we released Bridge Burner.
Yes.
Like, that thing hit like 1 million plays, and for us that was like I normally don't go on and check any of that stuff. I try not to check it. And I remember when the guys were like, "Yo, we just hit 1 million plays on Bridge Burner." I'm like, "Really? Like that's a thing? We did that? Cool."
What makes a good, like for Randy, what makes a good song? What makes a song memorable? I mean, it's different because like with country, because you play country as well. But like for pop punk, I mean, what do you think what do you think kind of resonates with people about pop punk, man?
I'm gonna say a lot of energy, a lot of when somebody sings something and you can tell they mean it. I think that really, really resonates with me. Also, once again, a catchy hook.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for a hook, right? So like a little aggression, a little like meaning what you're singing, and a catchy hook, and you got my attention.
And like pop punk, like covers of pop songs are probably the greatest thing ever. You guys have done so many of them. I mean. There's a band I think they're a Canadian band called Story Untold.
Okay, yeah.
And their singer does like covers, and he did a cover of The Greatest by Sia, like a pop punk cover, and it's so good, and it reminded me of like the Kesha cover that you did, and the Taylor Swift covers, and it's amazing to see, and I mean, it could happen too that We Were Sharks gets featured on a like Punk Goes Pop.
That's something we love to do. So
for anyone who's listening,
hey.
But seriously, we'll wrap up. But Randy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I mean,
thank you so much for having me, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Like I remember when I was younger, when I first started doing shows, I mean, you guys were one of the first bands. Like I moved to Ottawa from Montreal. You guys were one of the first bands to kind of help me and introduce me to everyone. So like I'm forever grateful for that, man. So
man, nothing but love, dude. Nothing but love, man.
Absolutely. Okay, now it's time to plug. What like you got to plug away now. Where can people listen to We Were Sharks? Tell us about when the record comes out. Go crazy.
Yeah. Spotify, obviously, check it out. We're on. I think almost like all of the playlists for like the pop punk stuff, honestly, which is like really cool. That's like awesome. Album comes out February 23rd. Lost Touch on Victory Records. Go pre-order and go pre-order the album. Honestly, it means the world to us. Come out to shows, request us on Rebel, which is also super cool to be on, Ottawa radio. So and check out when we're gonna be in a town near you and come and party with us.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll put all the links for the pre-orders for We Were Sharks'
Absolutely.
new record. Until next time, this is P Beats and Randy Frobel from We Were Sharks. Take it easy, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.